Hi everyone, welcome back to RachandBellaCrafts. Rachel here. For today's video, I'm just going to do a really quick demonstration on how to make these little pockets. So we've been looking at envelopes for the last week or so, and I wanted us to move on to some different types of pockets that you can use in your journals. And this is a brilliant project that you can do with old book pages, leftover digi pages or packing paper that you might have. Any size will work. So I've got a real mixture here of different types of papers and different types of pages. And I'm just going to show you really quickly how to make these, and then we'll look at different ways that you can decorate them. So first of all, piece of paper, always a good place to start. Let's do it with a book page. Now if you're working with a print, so like the one I've got in my hand here, and you want to make sure that the pocket at the front here has got the writing, the font the right way up, you need to start with your page upside down, because you will end up folding this up and under, and then whatever's on this bit here is what you're going to see at the front there. So just always make sure that you just double check. I mean, obviously I've done one here earlier on. That was just a scrap piece of paper with handwriting on, but that's fine. I think that's quite effective like that as well. It doesn't really matter, but you know, I mean, you can have your print upside down if you want. I've done another one here with numbers, and I did do that upside down, but I did it purposely because that's my story and I'm sticking to it. But I just thought it looked quite interesting. So, you know, it's your choice, but just for you to be aware that if you want your print to be the right way up, turn your piece of paper upside down. Okay, so you've got a sheet of paper. Doesn't matter the shape, doesn't matter the size. I'm going to take the top section of the paper, and we're literally just going to bring our two corners together, and we're going to just pinch so we've got the centre of the page. Give us some idea of what we're working to. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to bring over the first corner, and we're going to fold to that pinch down to that marker, that centre marker. Now this can be a bit fiddly because you really want these edges here to meet. We don't want to have a gap here, and you need it to be square across the bottom. So this is why you need to make sure that your edges are, you know, your bits of paper that, you know, you've got nice straight edges, because obviously, especially if you've got text, we tend to work to a line, don't we? But you need to make sure that that meets there. So we've got our triangle at the top now. The next thing you're going to do is turn your paper sideways and bring this side here almost, not quite, but almost, so that this this edge here is almost up as high as that corner of the triangle. So if you can see where I'm pointing at there, just a little tiny gap. So it's not all the way, because we don't want these two sides to touch, but it's almost there. And then you're going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to bring him all the way over, almost but not quite touching in the centre. And then just straighten him down. Make sure that your ends are, those ends there are straight. So we've now got, I don't know, what should we call it, an arrow shape. So we've got our point at the top, and then we've got our our flaps that have come in here. So the next thing that you're going to do now is you're going to bring your tail end up. So you can see now where I was saying about it being the right way around the text, and you're going to bring it up, and you're going to look, because this is what you're aiming to be in line with. So where the this fold here is formed, you'll have a line that you can see across there. Obviously it's a hypothetical line, it's not actually a line drawn on the page, but you need to draw a line across there with your eye, and this is what we're going to be aiming for when we bring this up. So you're going to fold it up over halfway, making sure it's nice and square, and then, and this is the fiddly bit now, sorry my nose is itching, then we're going to take the tail, and this is going to tuck in to where I just told you need to look for that line, and you're going to feed it through, and you're going to push it down all the way until the top becomes flush with that section there where you're looking at that line. Now, if you're struggling to get that in there, you can pop it in, get yourself a bit of a marker, and then bring it back out, and then just, you know, make that fold. And then it's just a bit easier then to pop it back in. So again, we're just flicking that behind the flaps. I'm making this look more difficult than it really is. Don't I always? Okay, and then we're just going to push that right down so that that flap there is touching on those two corners there. And then we're just going to smooth our page out. And this is the time you can bring it, depending on how thick your paper is, you might want to use your bone folder. And there you have your pocket. It's as easy as that. So you can pop anything in there then. You can pop a tag in there. You can pop another pocket in there. You can have a pocket in a pocket. But that then you can either stick to your journal page, or you can use a paper clip to attach it to the top of the page. You can do all sorts of things with them. And I'm going to make a few more, and I'll show you then how we can decorate them then. Now, one of the things that you might like to do is to glue the top folds. So these sections here, you can actually glue those down. So, but obviously that's something you might want to do as you're going through the process. So we'll do that on this one now, just because it does just stop the flapping about. But of course, the great thing about these is, if you're doing this with one-sided paper, they do also become a bit of a secret journal spot. So you can open them up and write inside. So obviously, if we didn't have that font in there, you could write on that, but you can then use that as a bit of a secret journal spot, similar to the envelopes that we made last week. But I think that's quite natty. I like that. So let's just do it again. So we're going to get a sheet of paper. We're going to pinch our centre so we know what we're working towards to do our folds. And then we're going to bring our two corners down. Sometimes it's easier if you do it at the same time. And then you find you want to match these two corners up here. That's what you're aiming for. And then we're just going to, oh yeah, there we are. That was much easier. Right, okay. Then we're going to turn it sideways. We're going to bring this flap in here. And just make sure that end is square there. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So we're all the way, but not quite together. If that makes sense. So we don't want these to meet. There we go. So that's our, now this is the point at which now we're going to just glue down these flaps. And then that's going to just reduce that bulk there then. There we go. So just a bit of glue there. And a bit of glue there. And then glue those down there. And then they're going to not be moving around. And that one in there. And that one in there. Now for good measure, you just want to give it a bit of a, there we go. Just to get rid of any bulk. And then we're going to bring the bottom up. And you can decide how big you want your pocket to be. If you want to have a long one to put a big tag in there, or if you want to have a short stumpy one. But obviously, as you're doing that, you're looking to the side so that you can see where that triangle begins. Obviously, that's where the fold is going to be. And that'll give you an idea then of how much is going to have to be folded in. Now, what you could do, realistically, I suppose, is you could now fold this back to give yourself that fold. So you can think to yourself, right, well, there's the, because that's my line I'm aiming for there, where those, the tops of the triangles are. So you could just put a little, you know, guiding fold in there, and then turn him the other way, and before you try to fold it in. And that just, from just bending that, the paper there, it just makes it a little bit easier then to tuck it in. She says, right, go on, you go. Here we are. It's like folding the sheet onto the bed lock. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. There we are. Then we have two. So let's try it with a different type of paper. So here we are. I've got some botanical paper here. So again, just remembering, if I want the print to be the right way up, I need to start with the page upside down. If there's an image on there, just try to take that into account. So if I do it like that, that's going to come out, actually that's probably going to get tucked in, so that doesn't really matter. But first things first, we're going to fold the page in half and pinch the top corner. Then we're going to bring both of our flaps in together. Obviously you don't have to do the two together if you find it fiddly. I just find it's an easy way though to get your top square, because you're hitting it in one go. Now we're going to glue them down. There we are, so that's that done. And then we're going to fold our one side in. And then we're going to fold the other side in. Now obviously as you're using book pages, one thing you might want to consider, obviously when pages have come out of books, you very often end up with that rough edge there. But that's fine, it doesn't really matter if you don't want to cut it off. But just bear in mind that when you do fold, sometimes that abrasiveness can add to the bulk when you're trying to flip the bit in. So you might want to just guillotine your edges so that they're smooth. But again, it's entirely up to you. You're not going to see any of that. It just can sometimes make life a bit easier when you're trying to fold. So again then, mark up your line. So I can see that that's going to fall about there. And that needs to go in around there. There we go. Turn him over and then we're going to pop it down the side now. Now you can do this with, as I said, any size paper, any shape paper, because it all starts with making that initial triangle and that just brings the paper into shape. But obviously just be aware that, you know, the bigger the piece of paper, the bigger the pocket you're going to end up with. So, right, so we got those four there now. Let's try it with some pattern paper. So again, just thinking now before I commit myself, I'm going to put the pattern down on the table, and we're going to start with looking at the blank side, and I'm going to fold it in because obviously I want to see my pattern and I want my pattern to be the right way up. So with that in mind, I'm going to bring in the two tail ends and make our triangle. There we go. That's a bit off there, it's all right. There we go. And we'll glue these down. Stop everything wriggling around. Like I say, you don't have to glue them down. If you want to use it as a journaling space, you can do that. But I'm making these today with the sole aim of them being pockets, so I'm really not overly worried about that. And then I'm going to bring my one side in, almost halfway, but not halfway. So we don't want this to be any further across than the halfway, but it needs to be below that. And then again, the same on the other side. I'm not measuring anything, it's all by eye. And then we're going to fold it up. So looking at how much and how big you want your pocket to be. And then we're going to fold our little flap over. And hopefully it's going to go in there with minimal fuss. Yeah, it's a bit easier with the printer paper because obviously it tends to be a bit shinier to work with, isn't it? There we go. And there we have a lovely pocket. And I mean, if you're using a pattern paper or a nice digital paper, you know, your decorating or your embellishment of it is minimal because obviously you've got that nice pattern on there, so that's quite a nice one. Then we've got another one then, which is a bit of a longer shape. So again, I'm just going to show you again this. Don't forget, upside down, back to front. So we almost look like we're working with it completely the wrong way, but it's not, it's right. Put our two corners together at the top, pinch, bring down our flaps so that they're like little airplane wings. Pinch the top, side, fold them down, and then bring up our sides. There we go. Oh, my dog's snoring again. And then bring up the other side. Just making sure it's all square at the bottom, because that's the bit we're going to see. There we go. Now again, this is the last point really at which I want to make a decision. Do I want us to stick those flaps? Yes, I do. So that's fine. So just reopen those a minute and we'll just glue the triangles in place. So that's that one there. And that's that one there. And we're just going to fold those back down. That's brilliant. Fold those in there. And then we're going to bring our tail up. And we're just going to get an idea by looking at the side. Right, I can see how big our pocket's going to be. If you want it to be smaller, just keep pulling it up, because what you don't use is just going to get tucked inside. And then I'm going to fold this then into our two sides again. So you get in there. That's that one in. Obviously, the thicker the paper you work with, it can get a little bit more fiddly. Go on, in you go. That's it. Too much paper in this one, obviously. Okay, that's fine. Let's bring it down a bit there then. There we are. There we go. And we have another pocket. And there, a nice long one in it. Now you can glue this in place if you really want to, but if you have that's why you're better off having a nice big flap on the inside, because it will completely hold it in place, and you know the pocket should hold itself together basically. But I don't really see the need to glue that. I would just glue the flaps at the top, because that's what gives it a bit of flexibility then. And then of course let's just do a really big one so you can just see. Right, so this is a really thick piece of paper here out of an old book. It's the index. So I'm going to start there. I'm going to pinch the top, my centre line. I'm going to bring down my aeroplane wings, make a flap, take it up to the top. And then I'm going to fold it over, and you'll see now what I mean about this. By not cutting that off, you are going to end up with a little bit of bulk. But that's okay, so we'll go in much time over, I suppose. And then fold this one over, match at the end. Just try and make sure that as far as you brought that one over there, that this side is equal. Okay, and then I'm going to bring the bottom up top, fold it over, and try and mark this one because there's just a lot of paper here. It's very thick. And then we're going to turn it back the other way, and then we're going to try and get this into the fold, see if it'll blend in there. So, one. And then you get on your side as well. There we go. And then just literally fold him down inside himself. Go on, down you go. That's it. And you just need to make sure that that's secured at the top, because you want that to be tight against this section here. So sometimes it doesn't hurt to push against that and then just take that bulk backwards. There we go. And then we've got a big one. It's nice to decorate. And you could put then, there we are, put a nice big tag in it. All sorts of things. You can put a bit of vintage ephemera in there. You can put several bits of ephemera in that one because that's quite a big pocket. Okay, so now they're done, let's have a quick look at how we are going to embellish them. So, excuse me, the first thing that I would suggest that you do is to ink them up. So you're going to get your ink and you're going to go around the top. You're going to go around the edges, because obviously this is going to go into the journal and it's probably going to be stuck on a page, so you're going to want to make this stand out. There we are, so that's that one there. And then the same here, all the way around. And then do the lip here. Otherwise you're not going to notice that there's a pocket there. Even more so important on the patterned paper, because well, it just seems to fall into itself, doesn't it? So we want that to stand out. But like I say, you can have them in all different shapes and sizes. You know, longer, shorter, it doesn't matter what piece of paper you're using. Anything will go. And then we're going to go around this one. And it's just nice, I think, with the ink. And of course, you don't just have to use your aging ink. You could use all sorts of colours, you know, your blues, your pinks. You know, you might want to use your ink to match your theme and your colour scheme. So don't just think we're just doing it to age. We're just doing it to give the edges definition. And, you know, it doesn't matter what colour you use, you'll achieve that by just inking it up. So that's that one there, and then the last one. Okay, so you want to grab a couple of things then to decorate your pockets. So let's have a look at what I got to hand here. So I just grabbed a few bits and pieces before I started the video. So I thought, right, what might I want to use? So I've got a selection of washi tapes. May want to use those. I've got a pre-made label that we've used with a bit of linen, and there's a printed creature on there. Cricket, I think it is. I've got some snippet. I've got a selection of gems, sticky gems. I've got a selection of flowers. So it's another nice thing to use. I've got a selection of labels and tickets. Oh, another washi. And then we've got these gems here as well. So, oh, and I've also got, I can't see it in front of me now. I did put a pile of lace on one side. Oh, there it is. Sorry, I had to throw my book on top of it. So I've also got a selection of lace here as well. Okay, so let's see how quickly we can get this done. So obviously, depending on what you're decorating, you know, you're going to look at your background. You're not going to, you know, you don't need to cover it. We're literally just embellishing it. So we just want it to just look more, don't we? So for instance, with this one here, this is fairly easy because we've already got a nice pattern in the background. So you could start off by thinking, right, well, I'm going to just add a little bit of lace to that to give it a little bit of texture. You don't have to put the lace all the way across. You could just add lace to one section of it. So I might want to do that. And then I might want to add a label to it. And again, that'll just give it a little bit more interest. So if we pop our lace down here, get the glue all over that there. Lovely. And then let's see what we've got in here then. We got, oh, there we are, I got a nice dutty one there. Dutty. There we are, so new word for you girls. My girls in America who make fun of my little expressions. Do you know what dutty means? I'm not going to tell you tonight either, so Answers on a postcard for that one. I think Amber will probably come back at me with something about that. She usually knows. There we go. So we'll put our little dutty label on. And yeah, you can pop that on there. We can always write something on there or stamp something on there. Or you can leave it plain. And then we can, I'm going to leave that one like that because I think that's fine. Sorry, just move those out of the way. We can also, what else should we do here now? Okay, so let's go with this label. I like this label, and I'm thinking that'll go quite nicely on there, but I do want to put something a bit more behind it. Now I've got this snippet roll here that Valerie sent me, and that might be ideal with the colours I know what I'm going to do here. So I'm just going to cut a bit off this, because this is my new favourite thing now, these snippets. So I'm going to have to make some more up, but I'm going to put that underneath there, and that just above, and then I'm going to leave that date out there, because that's quite interesting as well. So let's just glue that into place. There we go. And then, so there's our bit of background, and then we'll glue this then to sit on top of it. That's wonderful. And if we just place that over the top there we go. So we're utilising the text on the book page, because obviously that's where I've picked it up, because it says 1936 to 1939. And then we've added then a little bit of texture with our frayed fabric, and we've got our picture of our grasshopper. So that's all ready now to go into the botanical journal. Pop something in there then. Okay, so for this one here, you could either collage onto the book page, or you could use some interesting washi tape. So I'm going to go for the interesting washi tape, because it's just quicker, isn't it? And we're going to pop that onto the page like that. Might want to put a bit of glue on that after, and then perhaps we'll put a little bit of the text one then down below. She says, if I can open it. Oh, there's nothing worse, is there? I'm not able to find the end of the tape. I got it. I got him. Just trying not to tear. It's what's the one? Masking tape. Oh my gosh, I always used to do that with a roll of masking tape. You'd rip, and it would tear in such a way then that you'd end up with one bit that you never managed to untangle. Here we go. So I'm just gonna, let me just straighten that up a second. That's off centre there. There we are. So what we're not using, we just tuck around, because that's fine. That just makes that a little bit more interesting there. I'm just gonna glue this edge of this washi, because it's gonna keep lifting otherwise. Go down there, you. Okay, and then a little bit, I think, by there, because I haven't used this one for a while, so it's not, the end has lost its stickiness, should we say. So there we are. So you can collage that onto there, and then perhaps then we'll add a little bit of lace then onto the top of that as well, and that'll just make it look a little bit better again. You can pop your lace onto the bottom or the top. I'm going to pop it onto the top, because it just highlights where the entrance to the pocket is. But again, that's entirely up to you, your choice. So let's pop that across there like that. Give it all the extra glue, and then we'll just cut that to size then. Make sure that's straight. There we go. Now, obviously, depending on the theme of the journal that you're working on, so if you wanted to, you know, add a little bit more to it, you could perhaps pop a nice flower on there. or if we wanted to brighten it up a little bit, we might want to add some gems, and that'll then just make it a little bit more interesting again. But you can go to town on these, they're great. They're such a blank canvas, and very much like our pockets that we made last week. And again, you know, different types of papers that you can use. So, you know, I've got digi papers here, we've got our book pages here. This one here that I did earlier on, I've made with some embossed paper. So again, that's, you know, it's interesting, you know. Is that the word I'm looking for? Probably not. But it just mixes it up a bit, doesn't it? And it brings a different texture then to your journals. So this one here, I'm just going to put a little bit of music paper on the front, just to add a layer, and then I'm going to pop this little flower on there because I think she's cute. Here we go. I'm going to just stick that on there. There we are. That's that one done. So what have we got left here then? So this one here, you could put a little bit of fabric on there, you could put a bit of lace across there, you could leave it exactly as it is, because let's be honest, that's quite cute. So I think what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to add a bit of lace across the top, and I think then we'll just enjoy then this lovely old text that's underneath, because that is a treat in itself, isn't it? And of course, the idea of these is that you can put little tags in them and little pieces of ephemera. So if you were to have your tag sitting in there, that in itself would probably have a tab or some kind of embellishment on it as well, that will add then further interest to your pocket. So there we are, there's that one there. And then this one here, what should we pop onto this one here? So let's have a little look. Oh, here we go. That's very nice. Oh, look at that. That was made to go on there. Couldn't have done that if I tried then, could I? So we're going to add a little bit of pattern paper to this one. Just to, again, make it look a little bit more. Just more. Why not? You can never have too much, I don't think. Let's just make it more. There we go. Fan-dabby-dozy. That is awesome. I like that. I love that blue. And then let's put a bit of lace on that one too, because I like a bit of lace. Oh, that's a pretty one. Let's use this one with the little flowers on it. Great. Perhaps we'll put this one on the bottom just to make it a bit different. Here we go. Okay, so that is job done. And how easy was that? So like I say, you can make it as embellished, over embellished, under embellished as you want. It's entirely up to you. Obviously if you're mass making, it's nice to do a bit of a mixture of everything, but you know, these are going in your journals, so if you are making them for a specific project, you might want to have your theme in mind when you're doing that. And then obviously just think about what you may want to pop into them. So, you know, small tickets and tags, they're ideal. And again, then you can make the inside as interesting as you like as well by what you put in there. Oh, I was going to put a bit of that on there one night, just cut a bit of this snippet off, I think. Oh. My scissors are going blunt. There we go. Let's pop that on there. And that just gives that a bit more depth. I like that. Pop that there. Lovely jiggly. And there we go. So let's just have a look then at what we've got here, and some that I made earlier on. So we've got these are the ones that we've just done here now then. So we've got one with we've added the paper to it and the lace at the bottom. That one we just added lace at the top because the page was already interesting. This one we've used washi tape and lace and some diamantes, gems. This one is embellished paper, so we've just put a little bit of scrap behind music paper and added a little flower. This was digital paper, so again didn't need much embellishing. I've just popped a label on there and a little bit of lace. And then this one, we've added a bit of a fabric snippet to it, and we've added a bit of printed fabric to it as well. Now here are some that Mum knocked up for me earlier. So we've got a little tag here, and we've got, we've just used one of our kits. This is our embroidery kit. And again, we've done the same here. So we just collared that on and popped a butterfly onto that. That's one that I've left plain because I quite like the font on it. Don't be afraid to not have to add loads of things. This one here, we like the paper, so we've just literally added a tiny little label there. This one is using handwritten paper, and we've just popped a little bit of lace onto there. And the same with this one, we've put a little false tab on the top of that and a little label, which she's added a bit of washi to. And another one here, and again we've just used an interesting piece of paper for that one with a pattern on. This one's also been collaged. Again, that's a bit of music paper. And we've put lace and collaging onto this one as well. That's another one with a bit of lace. And then this one we've collaged some music paper and collaged the inside of as well. So I think that's all of them. Let's pop that one over there. You know, like I say, there's lots of other things that you can do. You can add more gems, you can add stickers. So you could use, you know, like you had your botanical stickers, or just brightly coloured stickers of perhaps butterflies, things like that. But again, just looking at your theme. But that's a quick demonstration of how we make our little fold-in pockets. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for joining me. Don't be afraid to post pictures up if you do make any of these little pockets. It'd be great to see your interpretation on them. And I hope you'll join us again for the next video. Thanks very much. Speak to you soon. Bye.